Welcome to another episode of Flick Filter. Gang, gang.
Gang, gang.
We back.
We back.
And I'm Big Diesel.
I'm the professor, ironically.
X. Not X. But C.
See.
But we are doing X-Men 97.
Crazy. X-Men.
This man didn't
97.
want to do it.
It's not that I didn't want to do it. It was just I had to actually watch it.
He tried to start from the old episodes, and I was like, we got to do videos. So.
Hey, man. But you know, we here.
We here. So, basically, if you know, I'm a 90s kid. I was born in 89, so I grew up. I even remember the VHSs. I think I still have some of the VHSs in my attic. So, I remember the first couple. I didn't stay up to date with all of them, but I do remember fondly watching them every now and then. But I only remember off the top of my head the first couple of episodes. I guess because I had the VHS.
And it was the first couple episodes that you had the.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
So.
Yeah, I had I did not watch it as much as you did probably.
Because you grew up.
I was I'm a little younger, but also it would be on, but I more so gravitated towards X-Men Evolution.
Yep.
And even with that, I don't remember it like super well, but I think it just appealed a little bit more to me.
Yeah.
And but going back when I did watch a lot of X-Men over the last few weeks, I feel like it definitely holds up. Some of the things do feel a little dated in terms of the pacing and everything, and just the animation style looks a little older, but it still looks cool. Like, it's still very well done. The stories are good. The voice acting was still good even back then, and the characters are really great. But it definitely feels like, it definitely has that kind of like 90s feel. It's still a really solid animated superhero show.
Yeah. So basically, X-Men 97 picks up right after the end of the last one. And I think season 2 is already made or at least written. And they're doing a couple more seasons. But anyways, careful for spoilers if you have not seen it yet. To talk about it, we got to get into spoilers and stuff like that. So you have been warned. But yeah, basically, you were gonna say something.
Oh, I was gonna say, were we gonna summarize it as a whole, or go through each episode, or how were we gonna?
We're not gonna do a perfect play-by-play of each episode, but we'll just say everything that stuck out to us and our favorite parts and stuff we didn't like, and stuff we did like. So yeah.
Cool.
So basically, this is basically about them trying to kind of, because Charles Xavier is dead. So basically they're trying to put a grip on everything. So they're learning how, Cyclops is trying to learn how to run the team, and of course there's other stuff that is playing around, and then you got Magneto who enters in, and it's just, you start to see where the groundwork is coming from.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Definitely. It just picks right up where, definitely very Cyclops focused in terms of him trying to lead. You got him and Jean. They're having their kid and the stress with that, and they're talking about leaving the team. Well, Jean actually is the one who suggests that, and there even being conflict and tension between them. That was pretty interesting, and then you find out some other things that we'll probably get into.
Yep.
But then also like
you got stuff with Storm.
Yeah, Storm.
You got Storm has an arc. There was supposed to be a big thing with Morph, but Morph is hardly in the show, barely.
Do you know why they kind of plucked him out? Because it seems like that'd be happening to Morph.
Yeah, I mean he's not a big. When you think of X-Men, you don't think of Morph, but
right.
They basically used Morph as just cameos, but more because he turns into people while he's fighting. So it's like, oh, that was Psylocke, or that was Cable, but it's really Morph, and he just used their kind of powers or whatever to kind of fight. Right. That's basically how they use Morph. Mm-hmm. Nothing really more to him than that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
True. We could also talk about Roberto. He's kind of the new guy.
Sunspot.
Sunspot, yeah.
Sunspot. He's the new character, and they kind of. He's the Jubilee. Like,
he's the Jubilee,
even though Jubilee was more the new kid coming in, and had to learn the ropes. Now Jubilee is teaching him stuff on how to kind of do certain things and how to get accepted from the group and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then there's a romance angle with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's your favorite X-Men? And I already know, but.
Do you?
We talked about it.
We did, but I think I changed. So it's really between Storm and Nightcrawler, I would say.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Bishop, which Bishop was he was in it for the beginning and then he showed up a little bit at the end, but he was barely in it. I like Gambit, which we'll talk about Gambit in a while. But yeah, I thought the voice acting was okay. I would say. Rogue got on my nerves just because she's such a Southern belle. It's just some of her mannerisms got annoying, but I think everybody else was kind of like either the voice actor had died or because it's been so long, and not Rogue specifically voice actor, but certain voice actors passed away, and that's why they had to get somebody else, and that's why they sound different, or they just sound different because they got a little bit older, because this was it ended in '97, so your voices change, especially if you haven't been if you stop voice acting, or if you voice act for different. You change your voice, for different other characters.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
And so I thought the voice acting was, pretty good for the most part. Now this is an unpopular opinion. I thought that even though I'm old-fashioned, I like the way the old one looked, even though it was a little outdated. But this was a little too crispy. It was a little too crispy. It was
very crisp compared to the old. Too crispy. Very smooth.
Yeah. It was a little too crisp. It was just like, my eyes didn't like it. Like, it looked nice, but I was just like, it was just too, it was.
Too butter smooth.
Yeah. Too bright.
Yeah. Okay, I feel you to some extent. I liked it. but I could see you why you would complain or why some people would complain about it. It wasn't like it's probably not my favorite animation style, but I still like I like the colors, I like the brightness of it. Yeah, I liked it overall. Now but going back to the voice acting, I do feel like certain characters I think I liked a little more than the older versions, but I do feel like I like the older version of Rogue a lot more. Like I like the Southern accent, but with the newer Rogue, she does sound older, even though her character looks the same age as she did back in the '90s. So it's like you sound 30 years older, but you look the same age. Yeah. So then that's kind of what throws me off.
Yeah, but
it's not that she did a bad job, but it's more so it's like when you can tell an actor is older sometimes when they are playing a younger character, and it's like that kind of threw me off a little bit.
Yeah. But anyways, basically, so what were your kind of the parts that stood out to you?
The parts that stood out to me, definitely the action. I felt like it was an improvement over the action from the '90s version. Like the fighting, and the actual like story overall. I felt like I liked the cohesiveness.
It was more condensed
of the story. Like there wasn't like these like 1 to 2 episode arcs. There was a little bit of that to some extent, like with the Jubilee thing and like the video game.
Yeah,
that was kind of like that seemed very much.
That's like, probably my least favorite episode.
Yeah, because I appreciated that one because not because of the Jubilee stuff, but I think that was also where Storm had a lot of development.
Yeah.
Which I felt like Storm probably should have been like the A story, and Jubilee and Sunspot should have been the B story, but it was the opposite. But maybe because with Storm it wasn't as much action per se, even though she was going through a lot as a character. Like she had the demon spider thing, whatever that thing, not spider.
It was an owl.
Owl, thank you. I was like, yeah.
Adversary is what he was called. The adversary. Yeah, that was interesting. Just I felt bad for her because she just lost her powers, man.
And it wasn't even for like they were trying to get Magneto and it got her.
And man, did Magneto snap.
Yeah.
Oh man, Magneto was probably the best parts of the whole thing. Magneto and Cyclops.
Probably, yeah.
Were the top 2 in my opinion. Favorite, because even though like there was that one in the first episode that everybody, it was in the trailers and everything, where he landed, he used his optical blast to kind of land safely, and he landed. That was fire.
Yeah.
To me, my X-Men. But then there was also that drama with him and Jean and everything like that. It's like there's also a scene that they didn't touch on. They just kind of threw in there, and it's like where Jean kisses Wolverine, and it's like that's never touched on at all again. So it's like
they may bring it back up later.
They might, but I don't know. It'd be awkward to bring it up now that you didn't do anything with it.
That's true.
Before.
That's true.
So I think you should leave it alone, in my opinion. But yeah, man, there was a lot of villains. I used to read X-Men all the time, so I was a big X-Men fan. Magneto was cool too. I really liked Magneto. He definitely had a redemption arc in this.
Yeah.
Where he kind of took over the X-Men, and you're thinking he has like nefarious plans, but you start to realize that he's really trying to change. Like he's really trying to change. So,
for sure.
I think it was great to see Magneto actually try to be good. And then, of course, you got the villains, which I feel like Mr. Sinister was advertised as a villain. Like, he was supposed to be the main villain, but really, he wasn't really the villain. It was more Bastion that was the villain. And he was more like the, secondary villain, yeah. But there's a lot of cameos as well. Which there are some plans towards that. So,
okay.
And I kind of know what they're doing in the future, but I'm not gonna say. But
okay,
yeah. There was a lot of good things in it. There was a lot of good things. There was a lot of. It got dark though.
It did.
It got very dark where I think it was Trask kind of just jumped out the window and killed himself, but then Bastion brought him back to life.
Well, that's not exactly what. He jumped out. Rogue caught him.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Rogue was savage.
She let him go. And then that's when...
Fire.
Wait, who brought him back again?
Bastion.
Bastion brought him back. And
well, because of whatever the nanites or whatever that's... I forget what they called them, but... Basically, he turned the humans into his personal sentinels.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
Yeah, crazy. But yeah, it was really good, man. Then of course, spoiler alert. Well, let's talk about this. Everything that happened in Genosha, that was a good scene. Let's talk about that. Where it's basically this whole kind of paradise for mutants, where mutants can live peacefully without racist humans.
Yep.
And then basically...
Sentinel attack.
Yeah, Sentinel attack. And Gambit just goes in, man. Even though, because they had this love... It was all about love triangles. So you had kind of... At first, we had... You find out that the Jean Grey is actually... A clone.
That Sinister created.
With the kid... With Baby Cable. Pretty much.
So Baby Cable... Oh, yeah, because Baby Cable is really Madeline's.
Madeline's, yeah. So you had that drama.
And Scott was actually married to the clone this whole time instead of the real Jean. Which
we don't know when Sinister, I don't even have a theory. There's theories about when Sinister
switched them?
Yeah, but nothing's really confirmed yet.
Okay.
So it's just out there. But you got that, Wolverine of course still likes Jean, and you still got that kind of love triangle, kinda. But I think Wolverine is still he's barely in it.
Yeah, he's very much a side character.
Yeah.
In this, he's in it. He's in the fights, but he's definitely more of supporting in this.
And then you got Gambit, Rogue, and Magneto, which going back to Genosha, it was kind of that love. All three of them went to Genosha because I guess they want to kind of recruit him as the president of Genosha or something like that.
They want to recruit who is it, president?
Magneto.
Yeah.
And then of course because I think he made a magnetic field to where he could actually touch Rogue. And I guess that's the main thing she wanted. But at the end of the day, she still knew that regardless of all that, she still wanted to be with Gambit. Unfortunately, Gambit kind of gives his life to kind of save. And so does Magneto. Magneto does this thing too.
Yeah, if you were like, you would have thought Magneto might have
bit the dust.
But yeah, they both went in. Honestly, Magneto, he definitely had made his own sacrifices in that. Like, he was trying to protect them, and definitely show that he cares about mutants.
And then to go back, like, because I missed this part when Storm loses her powers. That was a good scene as well, where they were fighting the FOH. I can't remember what I forget what it stands for. But then once they, like, Storm gets her powers taken away, he just snaps. He snaps and brings the whole
platform.
Yeah, up in the air, just like,
yeah,
and just kind of gives them, like, oh man, the best speech ever.
Yeah,
best speech ever, man. Yeah, Magneto was on point.
He did not play.
Yeah. So then you got people grieving about Gambit and everybody.
And then Rogue goes on her, like, tirade, rampage, whatever, to, like, get who was responsible.
Yeah, you got her meeting up with Captain America. There's a lot of stuff. There was Captain America cameos, Spider-Man cameos. You got Doom We already know.
I know.
Yeah. Doom cameos, Baron Zemo cameos, where I'm not going to say too much, but quite possibly they might try to build this universe up. There might be a reason for all these cameos.
Probably.
So, especially since this did so well, yeah, they're probably going to bring back the Spider-Man thing, and then, oh yeah, Black Panther. Black Panther was in there as well. Yeah. Yeah, it was T'Chaka. It wasn't T'Challa. And then Iron Man was in there. But and then you realize that Bastion was a real villain, and to the fact that he just trying to turn everybody into Sentinels, humans, mutants, try to get rid of, like, enslaved mutants, but also turn all the humans into Sentinels. He was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then you get to the very end to where he's got like 3 finales, so I call it finales. But you got, I guess, a little civil war to where they all break off once Charles comes back.
Spoiler.
But they already know.
Yeah.
But
they should.
Well, they know. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Anyways, so when Charles comes back, he was about to get married to one of the Shi'ar princesses until they tried to memory wipe him, and then, like, kind of
finds out that there's trouble afoot.
Well, yeah. Which, did you catch the fact that Gambit was, and it showed it as a skeleton?
Yeah.
But, that's a clue.
A clue for what?
I guess you'll find out. But, yeah, so when he comes back, the whole, because you got Sunspot, who is basically, I forget, he's rich.
Yeah, his parents are rich. He's from Brazil.
Yeah.
I think, because he was speaking Portuguese, and it sounded like Brazilian Portuguese.
Basically didn't want to tell his mom that he was a mutant. But basically she already knew.
Yeah, she knew.
But, man, she sold him out too, basically. But
how?
I forget, basically because... I forget. But there was a part where she was like, I can't remember, but yeah, she sold him out pretty much.
30.
Yeah, that's how parents be. Yeah. So the whole X-Men is split. You got Rogue, and you got Magneto, and you got Sunspot, and then you got everybody else, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, they're trying to stop Magneto from just destroying everything, basically. And then they're all fighting or whatever, and you realize that Wolverine puts his claws into Magneto, and Magneto does something crazy and just rips all the adamantium off of his bones. So now he's going to have bone claws, and we're going to see what he's like without the adamantium.
Weaker.
We'll just see. But,
how did Magneto heal himself?
it's a good point.
Did Rogue? I wonder if Rogue.
I don't think so. But, anywho. But yeah, there was a lot of good stuff that happened in there. If we wanted to pick everything apart, we'd be here forever. But
yeah,
all in all, I give it a 5 out of 5. It's fire.
Oh dang! I didn't think that. For shows, I would be.
You don't need to do a rating, but it was fire.
Just to be controversial, not be controversial. I'm gonna give it 4.5, 4.5.
Always trying to be a rebel.
Yeah.
But anywho, post your comments down below. Let us know what's your favorite part of X-Men 97 and what you want to see him do. If we missed anything, put it in the comments below. And like this video, share this video.
Subscribe.
Comment. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. So yeah, that would definitely help us out. Share it on social media, whatever, and tell your friends and families about it.
Tell your friends, your family, your cousin, your dog, your grandma.
Not your dog.
Your play cousin.
Crazy.
Your god siblings.
Stupid. But anyways, with that brings us to a close. Thank y'all who watched this and supported us since day one. We love y'all. And we'll see you in the next one.
To me, my X-Men.